How do you behave in the moments immediately after opening your eyes in the morning? Your answer could affect your income, your happiness, and your overall mental health. There have been countless studies, YouTube videos, and books published on the importance of a morning routine. We are obsessed with the routines of the rich and famous, trying to find patterns and clues that might uncover their secrets to success. But if our morning minutes are so precious, why do so many of us spend them like this? At least that's how I used to operate.
Honestly, it takes me some time to wake up in the morning, get out of just my sleepy days. I will literally go on TikTok and just swipe through.
Clearly, I was anti-routine and proud of it. But the truth is, despite my best efforts, I could never get them to stick. Creating a morning routine was like a weak New Year's resolution that I would commit to for a couple days and then forget about. So I convinced myself that morning routines were not for me. I just don't operate that way. They're probably not that important. Even though my work suffered and my morning moods fluctuated constantly, I remained blind to the obvious cause until I received an unexpected message.
No, discipline, structure, these are the true keys to success. You've got to be structured in your work. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to be self-motivated, And those are the things I am.
Now I have no idea why hearing McGregor say that hit me so hard. Maybe it was my respect for his career, or his beautiful blue suit, or maybe it was that magical Irish accent that had some leprechaun powers over me. But for whatever reason, it hit me, and it hit me hard. And it made me realize that I need more structure. I need more discipline. So this is how I finally built a structured daily routine and got it to stick. Intention. I think creating a morning routine just for the sake of it, or just because it's what Jeff Bezos does, is the number one thing that causes our routines to crack. If you're gonna create a routine, it should be only for one purpose, and that purpose is to serve you, to enhance your life in some way. So what way is that? Set an intention for your routine and write it down. We're gonna reference this in the future. So something like, I want more time in the morning so I can work out. I wanna boost the energy I have for my first few hours of work. I wanna be consistent and disciplined. That one was mine. I would suggest taking some time and thinking about something that's really meaningful to you. Now, don't confuse this with a goal or a target. Okay, that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that anyone makes when trying to set out a morning routine, is setting it up with a goal. These intentions are something that actually you can do and achieve on a daily basis, right? So I want to be consistent. I want to be disciplined. Every day I complete my routine, I've achieved that. I was consistent, I was disciplined. If you say, I want to work out in the morning, if you do that, you achieve that. However, on the flip side, if you say, I want to lose 20 pounds, the intention of my routine is to lose 20 pounds, you're going to be frustrated on day 7 when you haven't, achieved that and you haven't lost 20 pounds yet. So don't set it on a target. Your intention should be an action or an outcome that can be accomplished every day that you complete your routine. Analysis. So here's the thing, you already have a morning routine. Even if it's not intentional, you probably have some consistent activities, good or bad. So what are they? Let's write them all down and get it detailed, get it specific. Now, even if your mornings are totally different all the time, you probably have some core activities that you can't live without, right? Brushing your teeth, drinking coffee, write those down at least, because we're gonna use this analysis as the framework for the new routine. So here is a stripped down version of the list I created when I was making my routine. Now, I got a lot more detailed than this because we're gonna use these little points to tie our routines together, and they'll make sense in a second. But you should go from, I took my shoes out of the closet, I put my shoes on, I tied my shoes, because the more little steps you have in between, the more opportunity there is to insert good habits. So once I finished that list and really got it down, the next thing is to make a list of habits that you want to add to your daily routine, and write everything down from big to small. I wanna make my bed, I wanna meditate, I wanna visualize, I wanna work out, I wanna make a healthy breakfast, I wanna walk the dog, whatever it is, write them all down. Core pillars. Now this is the thing that really makes this morning routine stick. Once you have your big list of all the things you already do, start circling the core pillars. So these things are the things you actually want to do in your morning. So for some of us, that's coffee. For some of us, that's working out. So circle those things. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It could be checking your emails, right? Don't start calling these habits good or bad. We're gonna start exploiting the habits that you might think are bad so that we can actually add good habits. We're gonna start marrying the habits that you want to the habits that you already need and the habits that you really crave to do. This is a strategy out of Atomic Habits. It's called temptation bundling. Now, the way he writes it in the book, it's after habit I want, I will habit I need. The way I like to write it is before I can do this, I must do this. So look at your list and determine the things that you cannot go without. Now, look at the habits you want to add to your morning and marry those together. Before I can put on my clothes, I must make the bed. Before I drink coffee, I must do a 15-minute meditation. Before I enter the gym, I must read my mission board mantra. So those are some examples of the temptation bundles that I created. Now, I would suggest highly that you tie the habits that you really, really want to add to the temptations that are really, really strong to you. Now, when I was a kid, growing up playing hockey, my coach used to call me rock star. Not because of how talented I was, but because I was the only 11-year-old kid to show up every game with a Rockstar energy drink. So it's safe to say I have an unhealthy relationship with caffeine. But instead of trying to eliminate that entirely, I just exploited that. I used that to add better habits to my life. So now that you have your temptation bundle created, it's time for the hardest part, and that is to select one. One and only one out of the list. Now, it's a temptation of ours to actually dive in and get it super excited and want to do a big change. And that is another big reason that it's hard to get a routine to stick. When we trick our mind into doing something slowly, it's a lot easier to accept. When you just add one habit to your day and it becomes normal to you, and then you add the next one, you're only adding one habit. You're not adding 10 or 20 or this long fleshed out routine. You're building it block by block. And what I found worked best for me was to do the easiest one. So I did making my bed, and I tied that to changing, putting on clothes in the morning. So I could not leave my room because I had to wear clothes to leave my room. I couldn't do that unless I made my bed. Revise. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. Bruce Lee. I think the real key to a morning routine is to break the routine. It's that it's never actually done. It's never actually complete, because the goal of your routine is to always serve you. So you need to continue to ask yourself, is what I'm doing serving me or not? One of the biggest traps I think that we get into is that once we set a routine that we just came up with in our head, like I want to meditate, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, we start doing it. We do it for 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, and we realize, hey, this isn't actually getting me to my goal. My meditation's too long, my workout's at the wrong time, and it feels like if we changed or broke the routine, it would be cheating. But you're not doing a routine for the sake of having a routine. You're having a routine to follow your intention. So if your intention is not being served, I think it's your duty to break your routine and continue to test it and treat it like it's an experiment. And I feel the only way to properly do that is to keep a journal, keep notes, preferably in real time. Maybe when you get to work, say, how do I feel right now? I just completed my routine, how do I feel? And those notes, you'll be able to reflect on and see how it's affecting and changing your mind over time. March 15th. Today I tried reading after eating, but my tiredness overpowers. I need something that will wake me up after breakfast. Maybe going to an outside location, like a cafe, maybe showering at this time instead of before. The next day. Today I went to the sauna after eating. My tiredness after breakfast was still there, but after the sauna, I felt energized. Then I went to an outside location, outside of the house, to work at Juliet Cafe. Best morning of work ever. So if I didn't keep notes and I didn't keep tabs, I wouldn't be able to adjust on the fly and make the changes I needed to go from a tired morning to an energized and productive morning. The nighttime routine. I used to think going to sleep late was cool, till I realized waking up early is the real boss shit. Wiz Khalifa. The truth is that every good morning routine starts at night. In the book Deep Work, Cal Newport talks about having a shutdown ritual. Now, if you have nothing else for your nighttime routine, I would suggest at least adopting this. So the shutdown ritual is just an audible command. So after doing a task, for me, I turn off all these monitors behind me and I say, work brain off. Work brain off. Simple as that. That's it. It's kind of weird, but what it does is that when I say that, it cues my brain, it cues me into saying, okay, no more thinking about work, and I can peacefully transition into my nighttime routine. Now for the nighttime routine, it's the same setup as the morning routine, so I'm not gonna dive too deep into it, but basically you just wanna set yourself up for the next day. So maybe set out your clothes for the next day, read a book, whatever you wanna do at night, The setup is the same. The importance is that you stop, thinking about work, you stop stressing at night, and maybe go to bed at the same time so you can set up your morning routine. So once you have a strong intention written down and you've married your temptations to the habits you want to add, and then you start introducing them to your life one piece at a time, you can finally reap the rewards of having a strong morning routine of structure that actually sticks. And it's gonna give you things like clarity in the morning, right? I used to wake up first thing and start stressing about work, but now I go through this routine and I have a clean slate before I start, before I even turn on my computer. It gives me a lot of winning momentum, right? You get to work, you start working, or you get to school, and you've already accomplished so many things in your day. You're already on a roll, and it's harder to stop forward momentum than it is to create it. So once I started getting that ball rolling early in the morning, my days just automatically became more productive. Committing to a routine also freed up my mental space for creativity. I used to think that if I had a routine and I did it every day, it would be mundane and be boring. But being able to commit to a routine freed up a lot of space for decisions in my head, and it allows my mind to be more creative when I get to work, because instead of thinking about what I'm doing in the morning, it becomes automatic, right? Instead of thinking about what clothes I'm gonna wear this black shirt because I wear it every day, right? You see Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs doing that, where they always wear the same shirt. I used to think that was kind of over the top, but once you start having little decisions eliminated throughout the day, it actually is kind of amazing how much of a weight that takes off of your mind. And overall, when you have a morning routine that you stick to, along with the win momentum, you just feel better. You just feel better about your day when you get started. You feel accomplished, right? So those are just some of the benefits that I've had from sticking to a morning routine. And this right here is the blueprint and the template for how I made it stick. So I hope at least one thing in this video was useful for you in building and crafting your routine, because I think it is one of the most effective and powerful ways to gain control over your life. Once you control your morning, you control your day. So if you haven't already, click my face to subscribe. My name is JT Franco, and I'll see you in the next one.